Can I speak to the manager? I'd like to speak to the manager. I'd like to speak to the manager.
The manager working.
I would never speak to the manager. Ever.
Oh, I've never spoken to the manager, but if I were, that's how I would dance.
Never speak to the manager. Hi, I'm a sensible kitten heel, Phoebe.
And I'm Chuck.
And welcome to Do You Ever Feel Like?
Where we ask the questions that everyone's thinking and no one's answering.
Is this our first true real live? Well, not live, but in-person recording.
I think it's our first true.
Because that Cody, we did...
Then we did some... Didn't we do something when I visited... We did two. We did one during the retreat, and then we did something when I visited last time. We did something in December. Because... Like, we did, like, an intro. We did something.
We did the Cody recording, whatever. This is boring. We're in person. This is the first real live
we were just making the decision
podcast
that it's
recording
real.
in person. This is our first true real live. Why do I keep saying live? It's not live. It's in
live
person.
For us.
It's live. It's now.
It's live for us.
It's live and in person. Welcome.
It never feels like this.
It's Saturday night.
But like we were saying, because like we're usually on like a computer
Saturday
screen.
Night.
And it literally is Saturday night.
It literally is Saturday night. We're going to go out for dinner after this.
Which means it's 4 o'clock on a Saturday.
Which means it's 4 o'clock. Yeah. It's literally 4 p.m.
It's literally 4 p.m. And we're like,
it's Saturday night. Woo! You know what? This is kind of giving.
Old ladies.
Yeah.
We're here.
Real.
We're setting the stage. The fact that we're sitting in a bed, I think, is very funny.
No, it's like cute.
I know it's cute.
It's a day bed.
But it's a bed. And I think it's funny.
That didn't occur to me. That really didn't occur to me.
I mean, you always lounge. You lounge.
I'm a lounger.
Yeah.
You got to get at a 45-degree incline. What are we all doing?
Yeah.
Upright.
The fact that you no, this is actually very smart.
This is the most up I've ever been, too.
Yes.
The last couple of weeks.
Yeah, you've been 45 degrees. And that's why it's smart to have a lounge item in the studio.
I cannot recommend having a space that you can go and like to lay down that isn't your bed.
Oh, no. You need
that isn't your bed. And
that's
also, because I love to spend time on the couch, that also isn't your couch. I have a secret third option for reclining. It's stunning.
Do you feel fine here working?
Yeah.
Right.
I work here.
Yeah.
But I don't work in bed.
You don't work in bed. Even though you're laying maybe in both places. Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. Okay. Mm-hmm. Great. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This dog's fat ass is going
to... Luna really wants to be part of the situation.
I know. Anyway, so we're recording in person.
And I can't like stop touching myself. It's weird. I'm like...
say more.
My hair, touching my nose. I'm like forgetting... Because like when we're on a screen, I can act a fool. I can do whatever I want.
How is that any different than...
I feel like, I don't know, it feels weird. Like I feel like I'm on a stage right now.
Well, you are.
You know what I mean?
For the people.
Yeah.
We're in person. I don't know. What do we want to talk about at the beginning?
What do we want to talk about? What's been happening?
I don't know.
Phoebe's alive.
I'm alive. I'm back. I actually, you know what? I take that so back because I am not trying to tempt spirits right now. That's how I feel about anything. I'm like, this has never happened to me.
Yeah, no, don't say that.
Then the evil eye will come and get you.
Yeah. So what?
What was Wendy Williams, the killer?
Oh, yeah.
The killer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested in the killer.
I
say no to evil spirits.
No.
So, anyway, oh my God.
What would you say then? Would you say you're like not, you wouldn't say you're back?
I'm feeling okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to say I feel
okay.
That's all.
Okay.
I don't know.
We don't tempt.
Yeah, I don't want to tempt anything. Yeah. But I'm upright. You're here. I guess that's news. You're here. Does it feel like a big deal when you come and see me?
Yes.
We see each other a fair bit.
We do, but I think it's very different. I feel a different energy between us when we're together. You know what I mean? Like just when you're with anybody that you just oversee over a screen and then you see them in person.
Because you know what I think you and I have a funny, maybe not habit, maybe this just is what it is. We will talk, like it will occur to me sometimes that we've only talked about business for like a couple of weeks.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Despite knowing everything that's going on in like, you know, like the relationship you might have with like a coworker or something
exactly.
like that. But then I'm like, oh, I haven't like called Jacqueline on like, you know, a Thursday afternoon.
Right.
For a couple of weeks.
Like when we get busy, we just like, we don't have friend time.
Well, not even just busy, but just like life.
Yeah.
So.
And then like, you know, this happens.
And then
I'm like, you're my friend. Like that's what happens to me.
Okay. So what you're saying is I am your friend.
And I remember that you're my friend.
That we're friends.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I sometimes forget.
Nice. I know.
Even though we're literally talking to each other all day.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I had a thought earlier today because we were out for breakfast.
Oh God.
No.
What did I do?
No, it's fine.
I'm kidding.
No, you didn't do. I don't know. Maybe you pissed me off. I forgot about it. But that's the nice thing about being friends with me too. If you piss me off, I'm gonna forget.
Yes. Okay,
I don't know what's going on.
Hold on. I almost sent you a reel like a couple weeks ago, and it's funny. I sent it to Grady instead. I was like, who do I send this to? Because you're the same person.
Yeah.
And I was like. And I always sent it to you, and it was like,
I feel like Grady's gonna.
You can tell me all your secrets because I'm just gonna forget.
Oh, 100%.
It's like I'm the friend everyone tells everything to.
100%.
And it's fine because I've walked away forgetting. Like I don't.
100%.
And I was like, that's BB.
Well, and like that's what I said to my sister a bit ago. She'll like my sister in particular could just really gaslight me into anything because she just constantly says to me all the time, "Oh, you remember this? Oh, you remember like oh, remember when we did this?" I'm like, no. Not at all.
I have an argument with that. A pickle or whatever the people say. What do people say? What do people say? A bone to pick. A pickle. I said I have a pickle.
You have a pickle.
I
got a bone to
these
pick.
Phrases wrong.
Kendrick.
That's part of my personality. Yes, I think it's weird when people say that.
What?
I think it's weird when people open up.
Do you remember?
Statement. Like, do you remember when we were da 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 da?
Why?
Without a preamble.
Well,
or without like a context.
That's funny because my sister, like a large majority of conversations that will start, it'll be like one of us saying like, "Oh, do you remember doing this?" I also think too, just based on our childhood,
remembering we're friends.
You need somebody else to kind of.
Oh well, yeah, yes. Like, oh, I think that's important.
Not putting it together, but like,
yeah.
Hey, that was fucked up, right?
Yeah. No, and I think like siblings doing that makes like a lot of sense. Like you go down memory lane with your siblings and that's like how you relate to each other and like family. I understand that. Yeah. But I think like anyone else, it's weird. It's weird. I don't like it. It's not like, it's like I'm like with my friends and stuff, like, yes, I want to go down memory lane. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't want to have an entire conversation about like I want to be with you here now. Like, you know, when like there's like, or like, are your relationships or your conversations are built off of like going down, like, remember that time we were 21 and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't like a little bit here and there, but generally I'm like, what are we doing? I think that's weird.
Well,
maybe it's because I also don't remember anything.
I don't
like
remember
long
anything.
term. And I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Maybe that's what
also I don't
bringing it
know.
around town.
I don't need to know.
Yeah,
I don't need to know what's going on.
Gaslight
from the past.
Whatever.
It's none of my business.
It's none of my business. Yeah. Anyways,
no, I was gonna say something that's like an annoying feature of our relationship.
Yeah.
The gripes I have against you. That's what
so
it
weird with
like.
this microphone. I'm like, oh,
they're also a bit heavy.
This is a prop.
What do you want to do with it?
You were just saying you haven't worked out.
I know. Here you go. Oh my God. I'm like scared to go back and teach next week because I feel like my muscles have atrophied. Surely, like I'm just dust.
Yeah,
I'm just dust.
Yeah.
No, a funny thought I had so around for my birthday, Simon was like, "What do you want for your birthday?" And whenever somebody asks, "What do you want for your birthday?" I was like, "Cash, checks. I want money. Give me checks."
Yeah.
Like any sane person would ask for.
Yes.
And
also, whatever. We don't have time for that.
Oh yeah. Also, gifts are fucked up.
Also,
don't give
like,
me gifts. Give me money.
Yeah.
What's your problem? Give me money.
Why are we giving people things?
Give me
more
money.
things?
Give me money.
Yeah. No.
Give me money. Give me checks. Well, and have I told you the story about when I think I was like, I think it was my 10th birthday. I wanted a check.
Oh yeah.
I didn't really care for how much amount or whatever.
Piece of paper.
I wanted a check. And so my mom gave me a $5 check.
Yeah.
in like a lovely little box, and like we went and opened a bank account.
Oh,
Isn't that fun? So it was like my birthday present. That like kids are so funny, right? Anyway, so I was like,
and you got a lollipop at the bank. Is that a thing here?
No.
There's sugar everywhere in the U.S.
No.
There's treats everywhere. That's why I'm fucked up.
Our parks are maintained by the government, not Gatorade. And or Coca-Cola.
Yes,
Actually,
exactly.
I think Coca-Cola owns Gatorade anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, someone was like, what do you want for your birthday? I was like, checks.
Right.
Give me money. And he was like, I'll give you a check. And I was like, I don't want you to give me a check because your money is my money and that sucks. And that's annoying.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that today.
Yeah. Right.
That's like, you give me something, I'm like, stop taking my money away.
Don't
like pay
buy me
like
things.
when one of us pay, it's like, oh, I'll get dinner or whatever. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Because
Right,
it's like
it's
our
all
money.
Yeah.
And that's annoying. You don't think?
I can really. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's like a little bit more abstracted than like my partner's money.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
It's like mine, so it's like doesn't count as like fun.
It's not like a cute thing to like pick up the bill or whatever.
Yeah, because I'm just like
whatever.
Okay.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. That's funny. Yeah, that is like those are the things exactly that we're like like are confronted with.
when you have a podcast with your friend,
and like when you're like when we see each other in the real life, like those things happen.
Yes.
Just bringing it around to what we were talking about.
So you're here.
Yeah,
and we're together.
Yeah, and we're deciding who pays the bill as if it matters.
Slay.
I like coming here. I like visiting you. It's fun.
I feel you're not bored here.
No. Well, me?
Mrs. Couch.
Yeah. I'm fine.
But it's funny too, because also you have been here quite a bit.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, because it's like a balance when you're staying with a friend too, right? Because it's like you want to host, you want to have a nice time, but also it's exhausting.
You want your
like
own time.
When I came down to Philly, what was it, in May or something like that?
April.
We literally fucking talked for like
it's exhausting.
Like 5 days straight.
Yeah.
I think it's because it had been a little while too since we had seen each other.
Yeah.
Like, and I was sitting at the airport on my way home and I was like, I am so tired.
Yeah. Or like when we went on retreat and then we spent like another 4 days together, which was like wild. We were just talking. You get exhausted.
I get
and
exhausted
you need, like,
from
time.
talking. Why do we got to talk all the time?
I was just thinking, we were just talking about this.
That's why I had to lie down.
You had to have a lie down. Mm-hmm. But also, I think very specifically, you and I need to be getting the massages inside your face.
Well, I got a little bit of that.
That's what you were telling. Mm-hmm. But like, I think if you talk to people all day, like as like, whatever, if you're an instructor, if you're a coach, if you're a therapist, if you're an artist, if you're a podcaster, an entertainer, if you're an actor auditioning, you're the inside of your mouth needs to be.
I've been thinking about that with my voice too, because we talk so much all the time, and I was like, oh, should I do like some like vocal coach stuff just so it's like,
just so we have a voice?
Because I'll get to the end, like we were teaching a workshop a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or maybe I was teaching a class. I don't remember. I was doing something. It was the end of the day.
It was the
and
the
I was
class.
like, my voice is tired.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, because we just talk so much.
Anyways,
professional yapper. I kind of hate that. Like that's the best way to describe my job and all of the things that I do.
Oh, you're talking.
I just talk. I just go to different locations to talk.
And you're talking, and you're teaching, and you're talking. Yes.
Everything's a personalized stand-up hour.
That's what I mean. Like, in the same way that like if you were a singer, if you were performing, like we should be doing those things.
Yeah.
We got to take it seriously now.
Take it seriously. Anyway, shall we get to the question this week? Do you ever feel like speaking to the manager? Can I speak to the manager? I'd like to speak to the manager. I'd like to speak to the manager.
You know what? Oftentimes to disengage. What's the word? God, words.
De-escalate?
De-escalate, I might say. Is the manager working?
I would never speak to the manager. Ever.
Oh, I've never spoken to the manager, but if I were, that's how I would ask the answer.
Never speak to the manager. I think you and I need to be careful as two white women.
Yes.
that is the track that we can fall into. That's our destiny, really.
Yes.
And we need to consciously
yes.
not speak to the manager.
Yes. Yes.
I can't imagine
Yes.
speaking to the manager.
I can't imagine either. I mean, there's a couple. Like I will literally be having a terrible terrible time. The worst time I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like the worst night I've ever had. Maybe on the brink of some type of breakdown, like maybe injury even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Blood.
And I will not
Urine.
talk to anyone. I will not complain about anything.
No.
I will just,
Yeah.
I will just have a bad time. Like I'll just have a terrible time.
Well, okay. So today we're talking about customer service, but specifically customer service jobs.
Oh, yes.
What shitty jobs have you worked?
Well,
let's get the list.
I mean,
customer facing jobs, I guess. That's not
customer facing. Okay. Mm-hmm. I've worked wow. Memory lane. Here we go. I mean, I've worked at I've been like the front desk person quite a few times. Mm-hmm. Like whether that was like
where
a student, like the student center in college.
Oh my God.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the I can't remember what it was like, you know, like the student activities center kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Or for like 5 seconds, I worked at a gallery in where I grew up. Like,
oh wow.
And like the first people that like when they walked in, they just saw me first. Like those kinds of job, like desk job, like kind of things. But I've never worked I went in for one shift as a waitress. Then I was like, nope, I'm never doing this again.
I cannot ever imagine you as a waitress ever.
I can't do it. I really refuse. But like when we talk, I mean, customer service is obviously different than like care. But like I've mainly only had like caretaking like roles. Right. Like I've been like a nanny, or I've been like an aide, or I've been, you know, whatever. Yeah.
Part of our job now is customer servicey.
Oh, I guess. Yeah.
I was thinking about that.
But I wouldn't consider it like a shitty customer service
job.
No,
it's not a shitty customer service job by any means.
I've been yelled at over the phone for sure. But I've been yelled at.
Have you been yelled at over the phone?
But I've been sitting at a desk.
Yeah.
I haven't, you know, I don't know. I feel like there's something different than that versus like behind a coffee counter, or like there's something about like the food industry of it all, or even like the shopping
made
experience.
Coffee or anything like that, retail.
I'm like trying to think if I ever worked retail. I don't think
you
I've
never
ever
worked retail.
Wow.
That's
I might be
crazy.
actually good at retail.
Oh, I love working in retail.
Yeah.
I love working in retail. That's one thing that like I think about a lot, having worked so many different jobs. Like what was my first real job other than like babysitting and stuff like that was in retail. I worked at Chapters, which is like our Barnes and Noble, which I don't even think it exists anymore. I think it's all Indigo. Anyway, I worked at Chapters, got in trouble constantly there for talking too much. Speaking of professional yapping, I got in trouble.
The customers? Like you were
just
taking
to
too
everyone,
much time?
with the customers,
okay.
with my coworkers, just talking too much generally.
Okay.
I think I've gotten in trouble for talking too much at like most jobs that I had.
Yeah.
Don't ask me a question.
I don't. Here's the like. Why? Yeah. Don't ask you a question. And also, like, why aren't we all trying to not work? Like, I don't really understand this whole thing of like, aren't you gonna like get caught up in a conversation with a customer because that's the point of having a job?
I know.
Like what? I don't know. Anyways,
yeah. So yeah, I worked. That was my first job, and then I worked at. I'm trying to remember. I worked at Old Navy for a really long time. I worked at Old Navy when I was in high school, and then I took in my gap year, so I was a full-time Old Navy employee.
Whoa.
Like 40-something hours a week.
This is why you like Superstore.
Oh, that show is so cathartic to me.
Yeah.
Like that is
so seen.
Literally working. It was just like working in a Walmart or something like that.
Yeah.
The types of people that you get in there. My favorite, like the best example, like I have so many crazy stories from working at that job.
Right.
But my favorite example, actually I could write a David Sedaris Santaland stories like Old Navy. Maybe I'll do that.
That'd be funny. Yeah.
But a woman came in with a baby with a wig on.
Hold on. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yes.
The baby had a wig on, or the woman?
No, the baby had a wig on. Like, maybe like 10 months old and a little umbrella stroller.
Wait,
and like a long,
luscious hair?
Yeah. Like long, like she looked like a little American Girl doll.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. Like synthetic.
What do you do?
What you do is you get on your walkie and you go channel 2, which is where everyone used, and went baby with a wig on. In soft lines,
yes, yeah.
Oh my God!
What?
I have so many stories working there, and
I wonder why. Why did that baby have a wig on?
For slay, for fashion,
at Old Navy.
Old Navy, yeah. Oh my God! Like I have so many tales, and then I worked there, but then I was a waitress for a really long time too. I was a waitress up until the pandemic.
Yeah, I did recently learn this about you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was not a good waitress.
Really?
I was okay. I was okay.
You actually being quite good at that.
I think
it's a very technical job.
You have to be a very good waitress. Like you need to be good at that.
Yeah.
To survive that. And I was okay. I worked at the crappiest bars though. Like I worked at places that you know what? Should I say their name?
No.
It
Yes. Depends on the story you're about to tell.
Okay. Well, I worked at a gay bar in the Village in Toronto, and they were actually, maybe I won't say their name. They were run by people I did not like. No. Shady things were going on there. Oh, no. And they would like steal. This is not even what I want to talk about on this podcast episode.
Whatever. You've had a lot
of a customer, but people would run out on my bill constantly, and I was stuck with it all the time.
What? That's what happens when people run out on bills?
Well, if you're a good fucking owner, then you'll cover it. But if most of the time, that's usually in your contract, is if someone runs out on the bill, if people didn't know this, your waiter or waitress is responsible for that bill.
That's
because
shocking.
You're essentially like, and the way that they like, because it kind of has to do with tipping culture too, is like, as a waiter, you're kind of like a food broker.
Right. Mm-hmm. Wait, okay. So how does that work here? Because I think the customer service of it all, and I think this is like what's happening, right? Mm-hmm. Is like more and more now. I'm like, what am I tipping?
Well, so this is what I was
saying?
Thinking about when we were. So I think part of the reason why we talk about this is like the kiosk culture of it all.
Yes.
With the pandemic has gotten so crazy, and so sometimes you're at self-checkout.
Yes.
Or there's a restaurant that I really like going to here, but it is all counter service. I'm bussing my own table. I'm waiting for my own drink.
Yeah. You're going up and getting your food and bringing it to the table.
But I'm spending the same amount at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tip you the same way I tip a waiter or a waitress. And I say all these things having worked all of those jobs too, right? So it's like, I feel very kind of conflicted about all of it because it has fully gotten out of control.
Yeah. And it is interesting because sometimes I'm like, I'm like, what did this person behind the counter do? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they like turn the thing around. Well, and I'm like, I
think like I am somebody that tips 20% wherever I go. Like I'm a 20% on a cup of coffee all the time. Yeah. Whatever.
If you're going to spend $8 on a cup of coffee, but then like tip 10, you shouldn't be buying that coffee.
Fuck off. I also think too, it's like as somebody who was a waitress for so long, like I'm like, it's also kind of a little bit selfish in a way because it's like if I go to a place and it's like, you know, like my like local cafe or like
you wanted to do our
like Vietnamese restaurant that we love, they like charge nothing there. So we're like tip huge because I'm like, course. Please stay alive,
right?
So that I can go and eat your nice noodles.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like these things are important. So it's like part selfish, but like
I do think though, like why are we not all like what is the benefit of tipping? Like I don't know anything about it because it's like what is tipping benefiting the establishment? Like why?
Well, nothing. And like you don't I think it's a good point too because everywhere is so different. Like you don't know, like when I was waitressing, it drove me nuts when the bartenders who were the owners, if they were doing the bar, you would tip out to the owners and I'm like, your salary.
It's like so confusing
to
me
like
because
as somebody like when you're paying, you're like, I'd like this to go to the people that like prepared and maybe brought me my food. And it's like it causes problems in the restaurant industry too because like there's always like this like front of house back of house like divide,
like drama. Yeah.
And like I've never it's really weird. Like whenever I like waitressing or even like working cafes and stuff like that, like there's like this animosity between like kitchen staff and wait staff. It's very funny because I guess they don't feel like they have any kind of control what happens beyond
when the dish leaves.
Yeah, when the dish leaves. But whatever. Anyway, I know a lot of people have been trying to like change it, but I do think like it sucks because your first line of defense is like this person who doesn't deserve to be persecuted for the decisions of a business or a corporation.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, there's a couple places in Philly now that, or even a lot, I mean, it's more and more happening, right? Where the cost is just higher and the tip is the gratuity is built in. Yeah. And it's like, why are we all just not doing, like, I don't know. Can't we just flip a switch? Like, I don't understand.
Well, and I think it's complicated too, because if you go for a coffee at like, your cafe, your local cafe, yes, I'm happy to tip there. But like, if I'm at like Starbucks, or like actually Tim Hortons,
that's what I'm saying,
has started like fast food. Has their like they have like an ag gratuity thing, and I'm like, you're a huge corporation.
You need to be paying these people more money.
So why am I tipping? And like, why am I trust that those people are getting that money through a terminal? Like, no.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, interesting. I feel like I always have a better time at the places too, when you don't have to tip. Or not don't have to tip, but when it's built into the cost, it's like, it's so much, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, this was easy breezy.
But to your point too, I do feel like there is a little bit, and I was trying to do some more like there's like a thought, like the nobody wants to work anymore kind of idea, right? I do feel like sometimes when I go to these places and you're having a horrible time and it's like, can I speak to the manager? I'm like, I will do your job for you. Like, do you want me to stack the plates? Do you want me to go in the back? I'll wash my dishes. Like, it's fine. But then I'm like, I don't know. Wouldn't you want? I really liked waitressing when I did it. Like it is one of those jobs where it's like, if you do, unfortunately, smile more, wear nice clothing. Yeah. When I was
remember your like regulars, blah 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 blah. Yeah.
We were out for breakfast this morning. Did you see they knew everyone's names? Bopping around.
Yeah, it matters.
It's crazy.
It matters. Yeah.
And it's like, it does matter, and it's like it's a nice thing, but then it's like, it's kind of dark that it does affect your income in some ways, I guess. But then also I kind of go like, wouldn't you want to take pride in what you're doing?
Oh,
and
of course. How
you want to feel. So it's frustrating when I feel like you're met with that. Sometimes it's like, hey man, I know you have no control over this thing. Yeah. But like, let's help each other out.
But also let's help each other out. Like, here's the thing where I feel like the work, I don't know, the worst offenders, I don't know if that's like whatever of this, isn't even the restaurant industry. It's like customer service calls. It's the customer service hotline. It's like the tech hotline or like the internet person you're calling or like whatever. It doesn't even matter the industry. Like, oh my God. The healthcare hotline.
Well, like, and if it's lucky if you get a person, because it's mostly like the AI fucking bot that you get first.
Yes, exactly. Those are the conversations that I'm like, that like real, like the let us help each other out. Yeah. Like that conversation. Because I'm like, why am I doing the like cognitive labor of like figuring out how to solve the problem that you're being hired to solve? Like, I'm like, it's like so.
Well, and it's also like you kind of have to play stupid a little bit too. It's like when you call tech support and you're like, okay, I'll try turning it on and off again. Like I haven't already fucking done that already. But you have to like, you can't like pass go. You can't like skip ahead because like.
Also,
it's the way that things go, or you have to get passed through the various channels. Actually, I have a really funny one for you. When I was in the States last time, remember I was having trouble with my credit cards?
Oh,
Like I had a freeze on my credit card for some reason. So I called, I can't even remember what the problem was. I called my bank and they're like, oh, you need to, they're like, okay, there was this, basically it was like this problem, but I'm going to put you through to this person. And I like spoke to like security or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, okay, I'm looking at your card right now. There's no problems. And I was like, oh, this person said this thing. And this guy, I must have been the end of a shift or something like that. He was like, not to sound rude, but that person didn't know what they were talking about. And I was like, slay. Like,
that is the type of honesty
stunning.
that we need.
I know. I was like Thank you.
Thank you so much. Gaslighting me and making me feel like I'm insane. Thanks for acknowledging that person that whoever was wrong.
That person had no idea what they were talking about.
That's funny.
I laughed into the phone. I could tell this call might be recorded for quality assurance. Hope you don't lose your job, but anyway, maybe just fucking matter. I don't know.
So insane.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Okay. And also, I'm so sick of this calling and then you get the number menu thing going on.
It's don't even.
I'm sorry. If I press 0,
yeah,
I best be speaking to a person immediately.
I know.
This whole thing where layers 0 is not working.
Layers of menu.
What is that?
I know.
What is that?
I know. No. It's ridiculous. And I really just let me talk to a person. 99% of the problems I have are even when we have was it Google? It was something that's one of the big, things that we pay money for.
Yeah.
I'm just let you have to pay. Oh, it's you're not on this level of this plan, so you can't talk to a person. All you get is our AI robot.
Yeah, you got a chat bot.
Yeah.
What?
I know.
No.
I know.
No. But then you do get a person.
Uh-huh.
And it's hello?
Yeah.
It's
Beth, are you still there?
Kind of a thing of cough if you are okay kind of thing. I'm are you fine? Do you need some assistance?
I had a friend in university who I can't remember what he was. He was a customer service person for maybe a bank or something. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
And he would just sit there. I think it was internet. He was an internet service provider, customer service person. And he just had this massive binder in his house. And it was just his scripts. The words that he was allowed to say.
Yeah.
And so he was just most of what your job is at that point is just memorizing scripts. And so he's I know.
Sign us up.
Look at us.
Ready to go.
Professional yapper.
Yeah.
He can't get in trouble for talking there. Oh, I would get in huge trouble if I was a customer service person. I'd be listen, Sandra, here's what you need. You're going to call Brian. You're going to ask for this person. Yeah. You're going to ask for his manager.
Yeah.
Sheila, she's stunning.
Also, hope your cousin Beth's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Totally.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what I guess this is an outlook of a thing, right? It's all the world's a stage.
All the world's a stage. And why wouldn't you want to just care a little bit? I don't know. I'm a little bit.
I'm gonna put a caveat on this. I'm gonna put a caveat. If I know that I'm speaking to someone in the United States, I'm what is this? Hello, are you there? Blah, 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 blah. If I have been given to someone that I can tell is English is not the first language, you know what I mean? All of that stuff, I am oh, many blessings to you. I will wait as long as I need to. I will not be. But if Amanda picks up the phone, no, I'm sorry.
Amanda from Wyoming.
But I'm going to be what is happening here? You know what I'm saying?
Well, they have a binder in their college dorm room and they're just only saying the elective words that they are allowed to say.
That's wild.
Is that crazy?
It's everything's legal. Yeah, I guess, right?
Well,
you can't make a mistake. What's its face?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just it's a funny thing too, especially when you're or even I was making a reservation for tonight too.
A reservation hotline.
I'm
phone number. Why do we
hotline?
Why do we have another phone number for reservations versus anything else? I don't understand that.
I loved picking up the phone.
Also,
when I was hostessing.
Yeah.
Where's hostessing?
Grady.
Where's the hostess?
Grady is
Where
the great hostess.
is the hostess?
Grady did that, and he slayed.
That. I bet
he ran the floor at a really nice restaurant.
And
he was
trust
so
that.
good at it.
I really trust that.
Yeah.
You waitressing?
No.
You'd make a good manager.
I remember when I called Grady and told him that I was gonna do,
Well, we were out for breakfast with your brother, and you said that. He went, you were. You were.
You were. No, you weren't.
Yeah.
For a day, literally.
Where?
It was it was oh my God, those horrible movie theater / bowling alley / arcade /
oh my God, I worked at one of those for a minute.
Yeah, whatever other activity you could possibly do.
Yeah,
laser tag.
I think you just as a woman, you just get sexually assaulted in those places.
That's why I didn't go back.
Yeah,
it's horrible. I had a thing. It wasn't because I'm an idiot. I mean, I am.
No,
and I would be not a great waitress. But I was harassed.
Yeah,
and I was I'm not doing this.
It's more by
I would
staff.
much rather have a toddler stick their finger up my nose, like, those were my options. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, and it's you're harassed by staff or your patrons.
Yeah.
You know, your
and
customers.
when it wasn't, it was staff. When it wasn't patron, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna work here. Yeah.
It was a patron?
It wasn't. It was staff.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I'm not. I'm literally not safe here. Like,
it's unfortunate too, because I feel like as somebody like working in not just like customer service job, just whatever, working those jobs, you can tell when a place is run by somebody that cares, and I think you can also tell when somebody that you've spoken to in the world has had one of those customer service jobs where you're like, someone spat in your eye at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, like you've seen the world. I trust you.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Another free pass of like, if I'm going to talk to a manager is overnight. If you work,
I was thinking about that. Like, all the hotels.
Yeah.
That can't be
hotels, gas stations. I mean, overnight jobs, shipping, logistics. Cleaning, like any of those jobs.
But there's like overnight jobs, like when I'd have to do an overnight shift, like count, like what is it called when you're counting things? That's usually overnight. When you have to do inventory.
Oh,
that's usually an overnight shift.
Oh, really? In retail, that's an overnight. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Horrible. At the very least, you're not talking to somebody.
Yeah.
But like customer service at 4 a.m., no one's on their best behavior at 4 a.m.
No.
Even if you're coming or going.
No.
If you're still up or just got up.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear from you.
No, it's terrible. Or like those people behind, like, like if you're gone, on the subway or something and they're in the little ticket booth, or like people who are working like public transport.
All of those are gone. It's all computers too.
Oh, well, I live in the dark ages, remember? So like that
really?
still exists in the United States. Yeah.
People?
People behind counters
at
train
love
stations.
If there was somebody behind a counter. I just want to talk to a woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I only ever want to talk to a woman. Actually, I did have a very nice time. Last time we were at Penn Station, I spoke to a woman and I asked her a question and she answered it. Isn't that so nice?
That is really,
that was so nice.
New York Penn Station.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like, that wasn't anywhere else, basically.
No.
Yeah.
No. I asked her a question and she went, let me think about it. Went and cited a source. I know. When does that happen? But I feel
can you hold on? Let me figure that out. I don't know, but give me a second and let me figure that out.
And I got to my next destination. Perfect.
There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I know.
If you don't know the answer, just say you don't know the answer.
And I just like, that's my first reaction all the time. It's just like, can I talk to somebody? But you can't. They took them. Yes. They replaced them with robots that don't have an answer.
Machines.
And I'm mean to the robots. I'm nice to a person to potentially a fault sometimes.
Yes.
I am mean to the robots. Fuck off.
How are you mean to them? Like, do you kick them? Like,
you're an asshole.
Like, you like yell at them?
Yeah. Like,
oh no, yeah.
Or like if they're messaging me, I'd be like, stop.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, no.
Stop.
That's terrible. That's really bad. Yeah. Kicking machines. That's where my brain went.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're in the train station kicking the thing. That's
no.
Getting physical.
No. You got to keep that under wraps because that's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
1,000%.
You don't want to be exposed like that.
Yeah.
No, I do because I refuse to be a Karen. Like I refuse to be one of my favorites. You know that one, that woman who's in the Apple store and she was like, I was told by Apple Care. Do you know that one?
No.
It's my favorite. And she goes, I was told by Apple Care. And then she just slams her foot down. And like, that's the end of the thing. Like, it's like not even a threat yet. And it's like, what have we done to people that like everyone's at this heightened state all the time?
Yeah.
They can just,
I
want to speak to your manager.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm so terrified of being that person. I like, refuse.
Here's what I'll say. If you do point out something, you know what I mean? Like if you do.
Yeah.
And maybe it's really lovely. Like maybe you're being really fine. Maybe you're like, I was told to come here and now I'm being told something else and I'm confused. Or
I like cry screamed on the phone with the receptionist in my doctor's office the other day. And I had to be like, I know it's not your fault, but like, you got to work with me here, Cynthia.
Yeah. I don't like when I'm now being like gaslit.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Yeah.
That's just fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
it's not okay. That happens in airports all the goddamn time. These customer service ticket people trying to like, I'm like the baggage people. I'm like people just telling me, and I'm like, no. So-and-so told me to come over here or do this.
Yeah.
And then this person doesn't have a job or doesn't know their job or has different information. And I'm now being I'm being told that I'm wrong.
I do really feel like the pandemic has changed a lot of that stuff.
Oh,
because like flying before the pandemic versus flying now is madness.
Yeah, it is. It's madness.
Because you'll get, I was reading something the other day. They were like, I think it was because right after the pandemic, because airlines weren't making money,
right?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah.
They were getting people to, or not even just airlines, airports weren't making money because there was nobody there. Remember, they're telling people that like, oh, you need to get to security like
super early,
the 24 hours before your flight or whatever.
Yeah.
People had theories, and apparently this was like
so that you spend more money,
so that you would go there. Because every time I went, you go through I'd be at my gate within like 20 minutes of every single touch wood. Once again, I'm not trying to invoke the killer. We gotta bring back the killer.
Apparently,
I would always get to my gate, 20, door to door. The second I arrive from the airport, drop, if I checked a bag, whatever, go through security, I'm at my gate in 20 minutes.
Right.
Now I have 3 hours to kill. So I'm going to spend $8 on a Perrier.
Yeah, exactly.
And then but I don't fuck around with that anymore. I'm paying for lounge access. Do I even tell the people? You need to be paying for lounge access because the money that you are going to spend on and it pays for itself. It pays for itself. The money that you spend on your food, whatever you're about to buy, your food is free once you get inside the lounge.
Yes.
And a lot of the time, I feel like people aren't talking about this enough, but I'm a little bit scared to let the people know. A lot of the time, your credit card will get you in some sort of lounge.
Oh, of course. Yeah. You don't want to tell the people so that I
don't want the lounge bumping. I don't need the lounge bumping. That's a beautiful part of the lounge. The last lounge I was in, I think it was the Toronto airport. It was right above the perfume counter. That is the devil's work.
What?
That is the devil's work. So the perfume was just whiffing into the lounge.
No. But again, I would be suffocating.
Yeah, I'm fine. This is fine.
On the floor.
Well, what am I going to go and do and bug Deb at the counter? Can you move the lounge for me? Because I promise you somebody's done that.
Of course. Or can you tell them to stop selling their product downstairs?
Do you mind speaking with the Estee Lauder girls downstairs? They're puffing
just a little bit.
No, but they wouldn't say that.
No. Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. Customer service.
It's a journey. It's a situation for sure.
I just don't know what the answer is because the tipping has gotten insane.
The tipping's gone insane.
But I don't know what a culture, because when you're in Europe, I was telling you this a bit ago.
Yeah.
Was I telling you this? Someone was off to France, and I was like, someone had asked me, they're like, oh, do people tip in France? Yep. And I was like, no. You won't be asked to, but if you go to touristy spots, they will say it'll be funny too. The waiters will say, and slay. You have to deal with people that aren't saying please and thank you. Yes, honestly, great.
Right.
But they're really funny. They always say, and if you'd like to add a little something for me on, you can.
That's funny. Well, I feel like if we were talking about the difference of places, right, and cultures, it's you notice when you come and visit me, you notice a huge difference.
Oh yeah,
if the person behind the sandwich counter or whatever versus being in Canada.
Well, we say please and thank you here.
Well, you also people here look up.
Yeah,
they look up from what they're doing.
I feel like a dickhead when I am going into an establishment and being like, hi. And I feel like I'm taunting somebody. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, but I'm so used to that. That's
I'm doing your job for you.
That's so
I've
funny.
greeted myself.
That's so embedded. I do that so naturally without even thinking about it. And I'm not offended because
you'll greet yourself.
I'll greet myself.
You're saying hi, thank you.
I'm saying hi to the person, you know, who's like, you know, I'm saying.
I just feel like I'm being rude. I literally feel like I'm like, oh, I'm the weirdo here because in my culture we say please and thank you.
Well, yeah, and the person that's like, you know, behind the counter is saying hello first.
Yeah,
and recognizing that you've walked into an establishment.
Well, it's weird when you don't work in a little shop.
Yeah,
someone you don't say hello. Does anyone? Am I invisible? You know, like, do I exist until somebody says hello in a little shop? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It's just, I think for me, being on that side of the equation, it's like a point of pride. Yeah. You know, I don't, and I you know, I've worked shitty jobs. One of my favorite jobs. I think that's why I love being a cleaning lady so much. Zero customer service there. I would plug my headphones in, scrub away.
Yes.
Scrub away. Although you do.
I mean, you have to deal with
the
people
getting intimate bits own
the homes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Working, we need to do an episode on working inside people's homes.
I had a friend who worked for a moving company that like moved you. Like you would like leave your house and they would pack everything. And he was like, the amount of dilds I've wrapped for people. Like, yeah. I'll wrap my own dild things, you know? Yeah,
that's weird.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, that's so
like
strange.
Some things you know, maybe your kitchen. Sure, that sounds like a dream.
Yeah. No.
Not my skivvies. Not my smalls.
No. I even have weird things about like, don't touch my toothbrush.
Oh, don't touch my toothbrush.
Don't brush my toothpaste.
I don't know.
Don't touch my face stuff.
Who are you?
What are you doing?
Where have you been?
Why are you touching my stuff?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
We should totally do. Yeah, we got to do an app on working in people's homes. We got to do a nanny app.
Oh, yeah.
You have to do a series on the nanny apps.
I know. I really honestly should.
We should do a series.
Because I also feel like I've got some knowledge to share.
Yeah.
Like to nannies and parents.
I was going to say
so much.
Like how to hire a nanny is like, or a babysitter. You know?
What to know, what to ask, what to make sure that you figure out with that person. All of that. Yeah,
you know, I asked once when I was a babysitter, I asked because I had a kid who was had an asthma attack and the parents never told me that they had asthma, and so I started asking when I by the grace of God I just like figured out
that I need to ask
well like but like I just had to open. I went to go do first aid and saw a prescription for an inhaler and I was like, cool, now I have that information. But so I started asking. I'm 14 by the way.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, no problems. Wrong. Allergic to bees. Got stung by a bee.
Oh.
Like the amount of time. I was like, I can't believe you're just letting me with your kids. That's my take home.
Yeah. I also just feel like I have a lot to share from like being around kids and things that like are helpful for parents to know. Like, for example, your child just wants to play with you.
Oh. Your kid, what's that? Is that Ted Lasso? Your kid just wants to be involved in your life.
They don't care. And like quite literally just wants to play. So like if anything is hard, getting them in the bath, getting them to eat, getting them to put their shoes on, getting them to pack up a thing, getting them to whatever. If you play, if all of a sudden we're in a magical forest, life is easy.
That's the ultimate customer service. Because that's an interesting dynamic too, because you're both like, that's like the client and the customer at the same time kind of thing. Like
yeah.
Service providers.
Oh, you mean like the toddler and me at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, I think
and the parents.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think now we're in a different episode.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We could do this one tomorrow.
I think it's interesting because when people are like, you know, who's the boss in that situation?
Yeah.
I'm like the baby.
Yeah.
Like the toddler. The children. And parents, I think, don't want to admit that.
No.
Right? They're like, oh, I have the power in this or I have whatever. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Your kids are in charge of this entire situation.
Yeah.
They're in charge of me.
So you're doing customer service for the parents, kind of.
Oh, yeah. And most of the time when you're a nanny and you're going into people's houses or even a cleaning person sometimes, right? Or even, you know, and going into somebody's home, it's often not about what you're doing, right? Cleaning, taking care of the kids. It's about everything else. I have like most of the time I'm not there for a baby or for a toddler. I'm there for a mom. I'm there for parents.
Yeah.
I'm there for like a marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I'm there. If we're being really honest. You know what I mean? Anyways, yes, I've got lots to say about that.
Anyway, customer service. I don't know what the answer is to like this tipping. I think the tipping culture of it all is like the peak customer service like has gotten insane.
Yeah.
Kind of like what's the canary in the coal mine.
Exactly.
Right? Like I think
or
that
like
is
almost
the sign
like the
that
what came first, like the chicken or the egg kind of thing.
I think like that's what we were like, okay, this has gotten insane.
Yes.
But there's so many other aspects of it that I just feel like have gotten insane.
They've gone the 1-800 conversations that I'm having with people have gotten crazy. And it's like, it's like, I also understand, like you were saying, like these kind of like tiny acts of rebellion if you're in that position.
Oh, yeah. And my friend Sierra and I would say all the time, I don't think she'd have a problem with me saying this. We would we'd be like, just shit at work. Yeah. Just shit at work on the company's dime.
Yeah,
exactly. And then when you're self-employed, it's not as fun.
No, not at all.
I'm paying to poop.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, I understand that.
Yeah.
I get it. It's like nobody is winning in this equation.
No.
Except the people making money
except
off
for
of
the
like,
billionaires. I guess maybe our message this episode is, hey, billionaires.
Hey.
Could you stop?
Or just anyone, if you own anything and you're having anybody do any type of audience facing or customer service things, like if you run a business, I don't know what it is, but it's just like this stuff matters. Yeah. It matters. That exchange matters, right? That like whatever. And like if both people feeling good about it.
And if you are
is actually up to that person, right? Like you were saying, you can tell when a whole thing is run by an asshole or a whole thing is run by a good person. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Well, and like, I think for the most part, if you are met with a tipping screen and a person's handing it you, tip. My nail lady was telling me the other day, a ton of her people don't tip her.
What?
Isn't that crazy?
That's wild to me.
That's crazy. And she was she was very nice. She was like, I'm very grateful for all these things. I was like, no, nails are not a need. And here's another thing.
That's what I was going to say.
Your coffee is not a need.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. That's what I'm going to say. The more kind of like, that we're getting away from a healthcare insurance line, right? Or like whatever it is. Like the more that we're getting away from it, like tip people.
Yeah. My same thing. I got a tattoo a bit ago. And I also like same thing what I was saying about the Vietnamese place. I tip a lot selfishly. Yeah. Because I'm like, I just got a tattoo a couple of weeks ago. I was like, I want to come back. Right. I'm like, nice young gal.
I also do think there's something karmic about it.
I think there's something very karmic about it. I think like if you're out there putting, this is making me a little bit woo, but like I tip 20% all the time because I feel like that's, what's it? It's like, I don't know, like generosity, abundance. Like if you're behaving in a way that.
If you pay your invoice on time.
Oh, I'm whatever always collecting good invoice karma. Yeah. Yeah. So that we have good invoice karma.
So that like if you that's another thing too, I think. And maybe that's why we're kind of like more sensitive to this or whatever. Like you were saying, working these jobs or whatever, but like owning, like having our own thing. I don't know. I'm just like, I think generosity is the thing that kind of solves this,
Or at least be like, a fucking human. Like, or
if you have the luxury of sitting on the phone for 40 minutes, like I was saying, like it depends on who it is. But sometimes I got to sit on the phone for 40 minutes.
You got to take a deep breath.
Yes.
Realize that the person that's on the front line is not deserving of your anger. Yeah. And where's Luigi when you need him?
And if you can,
as we've been saying.
And if you can sit on the phone for 40 minutes because you work from home and because you're just answering emails, like, we can all be generous to each other. Yeah.
Yep. Anyway.
And, maybe when I'm injured, like hurt or having a terrible time.
Yeah. Or maybe maybe the next time and you're like in a pinch, you don't have time, you'll have good wait time karma.
Yes.
Oh my God, when I called my ultrasound clinic the other day, you know what they fucking put on me? They put me on hold. I'm stressed. I have to go get my 6-month scans coming up. Yeah. It's not a fun thing to do.
No.
Black Swan.
Oh my God.
And it's getting louder and louder.
We have to talk about this. The music choices
I was sweating.
What are we doing?
Please, I just want to know if I have cancer or
Yes,
not. Why are
yes,
you doing this
yes.
to me?
I want to be taken on these lines. I want to be taken like to a dance party,
Yeah.
or I want to be taken to like a stream of water.
There needs to
like,
be a silence
Do you know what I'm
option.
saying? Or a silence
Like,
option.
I was on hold the other day for a half an hour, and I was like, I just want to watch television, but I can't.
because of this nonsense.
I know.
And sometimes it's even more. You know what I do when that happens? I put my headphones. That's what you got to do. And then you put your headphones down.
And then you just keep your eye on
then you just keep your eye on the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But anyways, we got to get back. Like, who is DJing these?
Who's DJing?
Because it's bad.
Not
it's
Tchaikovsky from the fucking
That's
ultrasound
so scary
clinic.
and terrible. No, I want to go. I want to be like peppy, dancing.
I've called
Or
a couple
I
of
wanna be
places where
calm.
you can like pick. I think it's
You
like
can
my
pick?
cell phone.
That's amazing.
You can pick.
We need to be doing that. We can be our own DJ. Because that is hell.
Or if you're in charge of picking put our podcast on, maybe that's what you should do. You should have to listen to Do You Ever Feel Like When You're on Hold? 20-minute snippets of our podcast would get us put in jail.
Well, that's
Out of
what I'm
context.
saying. No one's waiting on a hotline. Everyone's being like, all right, had enough of this. I'll call Amanda back later.
Maybe if you're a billionaire and you own one of these companies and you want to buy some podcast recordings from us, no one will call your company any longer.
Yeah.
Because we'll deter them away from you.
We'll deter them away. We could do a jingle. People would like a jingle.
I was
from
actually
us,
going to
I
say,
think.
I was going to say this when we started. It's feeling very NPR Tiny Desk.
Is it?
Don't you feel?
Tiny bed.
Shut up. But don't you think like,
is it?
Something has changed within me.
Okay, I have a comment. I don't really watch them. I don't really watch Tiny Desks.
What the
we have to go fight now.
We have to go for dinner. You have to go look cute. We're going on a date. Okay, bye.
Bye.